Hello, my friends. This is probably going to get up a little bit earlier than normal today. I'm going to take care of some video business this morning, and then I'm going to work on my tarot videos this afternoon. Yeah, that's how I've planned the day. So, here's an epiphany that I've had. I love that new camera. Once I finally got to where it and I became friends. What I don't like about the new camera is the time it takes to download everything, and then the time it takes to upload it to YouTube. And I can only edit one video at a time with my video editor. So it suddenly dawned on me, I could care less, my friends, how clearly you see my face. As long as it's not such a blur you don't know it's me. I like good audio quality, but don't care about the video quality when it's not pictures of nature. So it suddenly dawned on me when I do videos like this not to use the camera with the high def, to save that for my nature photography and videos. You know, sometimes I'm just a little slow to catch on to things. At first I thought that sounded like too much work with two cameras, but it's taking too much time to edit, and that's the truth. And I've never been somebody who really cared, in all honesty, with all due respect to you, my viewers, how high quality my videos were on YouTube. Because I don't care when I watch someone else's. Unless, of course, they're sharing something of beauty that's best captured with a bit more clarity. So that'll be great because it's going to save me a lot of time. So I have to play with getting refamiliarized with my older camera now and using the two cameras, and that's a good thing. So what else did I want to say today? Because it's more like a catching up kind of thing. Oh, I know. Remember I told you I was going to have to close the Tarot Together group on Facebook? Honestly, just simply because of time. That hurt my heart. Remember I had the conversation with you about sometimes you say no to something that you love or you care about deeply. Well, I didn't want to close it quickly because there's a lot of information in the files that members had helped me assemble. So I didn't want to get rid of that information. So I wanted to give it a week for folks to know, hey, if you want to grab the information out of the files, now's the time to do it. Well, in the meantime, a friend of mine volunteered to help out. Now, this relationship with my friend is kind of an interesting one. It's somebody I've known for a gazillion years, who is online, but not actively. Online for things like research and writing. It's an author. And not really part of like a lot of groups and things like that. And it happened to be that we were both re-engaging in tarot at about the same time. And they were very interested in the discussion that might happen on the Tarot Together group. But this is a person who never uses their given name online. It's an author that a lot of us will know, who chooses not to use their legal name. And actually they're rather uncomfortable with a lot of things that have to do with the internet. It's an older person who really just, let's just say, painstakingly protects their privacy. And really, it reminds me of, I always say to them that they haven't changed since the early days when I knew them, when we were all a bit of anarchists and down with the system and down with big government and Big Brother and you name it, we were down with it. And delightfully so. This person really hasn't lost any of that. And they wanted so badly to be present for the tarot discussion. This is a person who's never even been in part of any tarot group. Well, you know how much I love and trust this person, what our history is like, because in order for them to look at our discussions on that Tarot Together Facebook group, they have, mind you, never commented. That would be inappropriate. But they've used my Facebook sign-in in order to view posts. Well, you could say it's a bit of a voyeurism, couldn't you? In fact, someone left the Tarot Together group rather upset with the fact that when I announced that this person was going to help me out, because they wanted to see the group continue. They really appreciated the sharing that had happened on it. And that And they were going to help me by just keeping an eye on posts to see if any needed to be removed. They wouldn't remove them. They would just flag me to check into it. And to help me with the large backlog of those who have asked to join that I have not had a chance to review. I don't blindly accept all the requests for Tower Together. Mind you, 99% of them I say yes to, but I have had rather obvious requests for joining that when I looked at someone's profiles, they were not appropriate for the group. So this person is going to help by quickly approving all who deserve to be members and not be held in limbo, and to flag any from me that I would need to check to see would I approve them or not. So it's a really interesting situation in that this person is using my sign-on just to be present to the discussions in the tarot group. And while some could be made uncomfortable by the fact that there's kind of an anonymous person out there, it doesn't bother me, because the first thing is they would never post anywhere as me. If you ever see my name attached to a post, it's me. And the other thing is, which I think some of the folks on the Tower Together group that I've actually had a conversation with this recently don't quite get, is if you're not using your given name on Facebook, you're posting anonymously. I had to go through a period of time when I was afraid that I would lose everything I had created on Facebook. My history on Facebook, the groups I was championing at the time, especially this season of the Secret group, because I wasn't using my given name. My given name is not Annika Greystone. Yes, I use Annie in real life, but Greystone is not my surname. And I had to debate about whether I would be comfortable using my given name on Facebook. I had quite the struggle with that, to tell you the truth. And I guess I'm always going to wonder whether I did the right thing. But I'm present with the name that I use in the real world community. But a good percentage of the people in that group or any other group I'm a part of on Facebook don't use their given names. Okay, some of us have been called out with these new rules and regulations on Facebook. Well, I guess not new, but newly enforced, where Facebook has challenged us, asked us to prove who we are. And you can or cannot do that, especially if you're not using your given name. You can't. So while I don't agree with that in any way, don't misunderstand me there, I do not agree with that. I think we all have reasons why we choose to use a name other than our given name online. I'm still uncomfortable that in any way, shape, or form I am using my given name. But I have been so happy that my friend has wanted to be present to the discussions on Tower Together, even while not commenting. Oh, some other people then were concerned about anybody who's not commenting, but the truth is there's a lot of people on Tower Together and very few actually post in light of that greater number. Everything about online and online groups is weird in a way, isn't it? We create our rules as we go along. We each probably have individual and unique expectations of what happens in a group. So we lost several people from the Tower Together group when I explained what was happening. I did say in the post that that person would never post as me. Never. And that it's only because of their help that the group is going to continue. Most people were very happy to hear that, to see that news in the post. It does mean now that with my friend's help I can go through all those people who have wanted to join and have not, because I haven't had a chance to check out their pages. So it's a good thing as far as I'm concerned. And I've been very open about what's being done, so that anybody who's uncomfortable with it does have the opportunity to leave now. Okay, so that's Tarot Together. I wanted to update you that that's changing. And I've decided to keep the Greystone Path Facebook there, even though nothing's happening on it, because I'm not posting, therefore nobody's posting. Because you know what? Maybe I'll end up with some time in another rejiggling of the time I choose to spend online, and can be present to that group and post discussions and make something of it. Maybe its time has yet to come. So there's the catch up on those two things. I think I need a post apology on my Tower Together videos for all those who have petitioned to join and wondered why they're being ignored. In the end, it's a good thing, and it's an unexpected blessing. An unexpected blessing. And I love the fact that it's from someone that literally I've known since the early 70s as part of my pagan community, that has unexpectedly so, because I know they don't have an online presence, nor do they want an online presence. That has been the angel that came through on this one. Didn't expect that. And I'm so happy that that group will continue. Oh, let's see, Yep. I said that I would tell the story of how Roger and I met in response to a question I got from someone. And let me see if I can put it the most concise way. I've been single, I think, for about 3 years. I'd done the dating thing as far as getting out in the world and being social, but it was probably the first time in my life that I was single and really not interested in having a partner. Friends weren't so sure about that. Well, because they'd known me as being serially monogamous. How do I say this? Serially monogamous, which is what a friend once said to me. That there was usually a primary partner, someone, whether I was married or in a dating relationship with, that was like I was coupled with. And I'd go through periods of time when I wasn't with someone and was socially active and seeing different people, and then there'd be someone else who was like the one I spent the most time with. And I guess my friends kind of saw me as someone who needed to be serially monogamous, have that one person in my life. And I don't know, maybe it was a matter of convenience or the fact that I've never really been all that keen on the whole dating thing and really do well on my own. That impression was given to friends, but it probably was not reality. But friends were quite concerned after the last time I was single, because I did divorce a very great and passionate love, that I need to be with someone. Well, I wasn't so sure that that was valid, but I started getting feedback from everybody, from friends to coven mates to my minister at church, all who saw me as someone who is just beautiful in a partnership with someone else. So I fell for that hook, line, and sinker and decided, okay then, maybe I should take dating a little bit more seriously. Yeah, I did. And I had never, and I was 50, late 40s, very late 40s then. I'd never used an online dating resource before. Actually, I never needed to. My social network, I've been in my community a long, long time. I always could meet and spend time and socialize with mixed groups or one-on-one with someone with not a lot of problem when I chose to. And mind you, I went through periods I had no interest in that. But I was encouraged on so many fronts to try online dating that I did. I started out with Match.com. Yeah, I started out with Match.com. Really, I'm not knocking Match.com. I have friends that have been married for a long time to beautiful people they've met there. I think it's a matter of if you feel like wading through a lot of stuff, irrelevant stuff to your life and your dating life, you're going to eventually find someone that you're compatible with, if you want to work at it that hard. A friend of mine, and she didn't mean this literally that she was kissing them all, she meant that the amount of time she spent in correspondence with different people, she said, when it comes to Match.com, you have to kiss a lot of frogs before you find your prince. And she was actually a rather conservative lady, so it wasn't like she was kissing those frogs, but she was having internet correspondence with them, and had to go through a lot before she found somebody who, I think, my gosh, I don't know how long has Match.com been up? I think they've been married like 20 years, unless I've overestimated how long Match.com's up. So anyway, Match.com didn't work for me in the area that I was in. It was very obvious that the fellas who were on Match.com were looking for hookups. Well, you know, the truth is I wasn't looking for a hookup, but if I wanted a hookup, I don't have to go online to find that, you know? No, that's not what I was looking for. So it had no interest for me. So my minister recommended I go to eHarmony. Well, you know that long process of any of you been on eHarmony for, it takes you an hour or more to answer all the questions and everything, which I didn't have a particular problem with. It seemed logical to have more than a 3-question thing like Match.com had. But you know what? eHarmony would not accept me. Yeah, went through all that, and they said in their the letter, the response I got was, there's very few people that eHarmony does not accept to the site. It's nothing personal. We have certain things that we look for in best matches and the kind of people that we want here, and basically they said, you're not one of them. It was hard to tell. Back in those days, eHarmony wasn't professing to be aligned to any particular religion, but I think a lot of us who weren't Christian were finding we were rejected, so it might not have been the other things. But who knows? Who knows? I actually found it more funny than anything else. My minister was highly offended on my behalf. So that was kind of it for me. Then I had a series of things happen in dating life in my actual social circles. And I cannot remember the specifics now where I got with this, but there are 2 things that just felt like I needed to make a better connection with those who were not looking for youngsters. It seemed like a lot of men my age were going through their first divorce and were looking to reinvent their younger years, and were looking for younger partners, less mature or challenging partners. And I want to say the same thing for some of my girlfriends who were getting single for the first time in their late 40s. They were looking for younger men for similar reasons. So I was looking for peers in age. And then I was looking, I got a bug in my head that I'm large. I've been large my entire life. I've never had a skinny moment in life. Well, I did. I had a few years of being skinny because I didn't eat. Very unhealthy. And I decided, well, I need to find a site that represents large people and where I will find people my age who are not looking for children. So I went to a site called largefriends.com. I guess it was a little bit naive of me. I never, in the couple of months that I was on that site, ever made a connection with anyone that I had anything in common with. I did make a connection with a lot of men that like big women. That's okay. I'm not judging it, but I don't want to be your fetish. So that didn't interest me. I don't want to be liked because I'm fat. I don't want to be liked because of any particular thing about me. I want to be liked for the wholeness of me. So anyway, that experiment failed. Signed off the site. It was a site you paid for, I think, month to month, at least it was then. Canceled my account. And like 6 months later, and in that 6 months, I had a great balance of social activity and getting out and about, but having lots of quiet time, or inviting loads of people to my house. My house had a revolving door on it at that point in my life. And just having good conversations and getting together for dinners with mixed friends. And that 6 months was a pretty happy 6 months, I gotta tell you the truth. So at the end of that 6-month time, I get an email from the Large Friends website. And it was an auto generator at their site that said, we've found a profile that we think would be really interesting for you. And it was actually Roger. And I wasn't happy to see Roger. I was pissed. Because what it meant is they were still using my profile to lure men into the site and to advertise. So I sent them a really nasty email that I'm not part of your site. I reread the guidelines when I joined this site. They didn't say that your profile was theirs to do whatever they wanted to with it for eternity. And then I needed to have them disconnect using me as an advertising ploy. Well, in the meantime, like a day or two later, I guess the site had also sent me to Roger. Well, Roger had no way of knowing that I wasn't an active member of the site, and he sent me an email through the site. The kind of thing you do on those sites, reaching out to someone. Hi, I liked what I read in your profile, and here, here's what we have in common. That kind of get to know you kind of thing. Which I deleted. Yes, I put my beloved into the trash can on my computer. And I guess it was the next week I got another auto-generate with another profile that some other man, that Large Friend, sent me, which meant the same thing. contacted them and threatened legal action. And in the meantime, Roger said I knew my profile either had gone back to him a second time, I don't know how it happened, or he wondered if my first one had gotten to him because he hadn't heard anything back. I don't know, maybe everybody he contacted always got back to him, I don't know, but there was a reason why he sent it a second time. But when it came into my inbox the second time, I started thinking from Roger's perspective. His profile looked to be like he was a perfectly normal man. He was there because he's a very large man himself. And he had felt, when we talked about it later, that his best chance as a very portly gentleman was to meet a portly lady. Because the young skinny ones, no matter their age I should say, were not interested in him. Because he did mention the fact that he was only interested in women his own age, so I shouldn't have even said young skinny ones. He felt like it was a good opportunity for him to meet women of size that wouldn't judge his size. He'd had a lot of that in his life. And the second time his direct email, it wasn't from the site, it was from the link the site sent him with my profile came in, I thought, you know, this guy looks like the most normal person in the world amongst the people I met at Large Friends. Just basically it was a fetish community from what I could see. So, well, here's to them. Again, I got no problems with people's reasons for finding things attractive and meeting others that feel the same way. But it wasn't what I was looking for, you see. It felt like I was being judged just like I had been on Match.com because I wasn't young or I wasn't thin or I didn't have a certain kind of house or a certain kind of income or whatever. So I wrote back to Roger just because I wanted to let him know it wasn't anything personal, that I was no longer on this site. They had generated the profile without my permission. He seemed like a really nice gentleman, and I just wanted him to know why. He hadn't heard back from me that it wasn't anything personal, and I thought that was the end of it, to tell you the truth. And he emailed me back. Well, let's just say that was the beginning of it all. But I didn't make it easy on the poor guy. It was like 6 months of constant email correspondence, which I enjoyed completely. That I finally gave him my phone number so we could talk on the phone. Can you imagine the patience this man had? And I don't think it's not a matter of because, you know, it was such a great catch he was willing to wait. It's just in his nature. He's much more abiding, much more wait and see than I am. The thing is, he told me afterwards that right from the start, he was intrigued. He insisted he fell in love with me in those email correspondences. I liked him a lot. I looked forward to every one of our emails. He made me laugh. He made me cry. I didn't fall in love with him through the email correspondences. But I liked him a lot, and I'd come to respect him a lot. For me, it was hearing his voice on the phone for the first time. And mind you, I made him hang in there for 6 months. His voice just spoke to my heart. It just really did. And that actually almost made me stop dealing with him because I didn't want to go there. I really didn't want to go there. For a couple of reasons. It was like my life was in a good place. I truly had no intentions of being committed to one person again. I thought I was done with that. And I knew that Roger was a very traditional kind of person, and then to him it would probably mean commitment and marriage, and honestly, I just didn't see myself going there again. So I actually almost panicked and disconnected from him at that point. I don't even know if I've ever told him about that. But, well, let's just say he continued to charm me. I think it was like 3 months of telephone conversations before I'm the one that said, because he obviously had been wanting to do this for a long time, why don't we meet in person? Why don't we meet in person? And the fascinating thing about the meet in person was I invited him to my house. Directly to my house. Never having met him in person. But I had emailed him for 6 months. We're talking a couple times a day. And we had spoken almost every day on the phone for 3 months. So 9 months. The better part of a year. And I still remember. And by the time he showed up at my house, I was not admitting to myself how much in love with him I was. But as soon as I opened the door and I saw him and we made eye contact, well, that wrote the next chapter for me. That I was in love pretty quickly at that point. Bless him, he still insists he had been all along. And when he's being very gallant, he will say I was worth the wait. And when He's not. He says, "Dan, you were a pain in the butt to try and impress and get to meet. You made me work." And I wasn't doing it for that reason. I really wasn't. Maybe there's a part of me who thought he'd lose interest and move on, and I wouldn't have the calm place my life had become rattled in any way. One thing led to another. Of course, you know how that went. I think it was 6 months later or so. He'd been visiting me on the weekends for quite some time. We weren't living together. We decided not to live together until we got married. And I was comfortable with the idea of getting married because I knew how much it meant to him. Roger had been married for, I think, 27 years to his first wife. And he's just conventional, traditional enough that I knew the married thing meant a lot to him. I don't want to say that I married him because it meant something to him and not to me. Formalizing my promise to him did mean something to me. But I probably would never have really married him if his thoughts on what partnership and being together, if they were different, probably we would be partnered rather than married. I'm very happy to be married to my hubby. One other thing I wanted to say about our meeting, which was so cute, it was the month of December. So I'm right, it was about 5 months later that we got married, but the month of December when he came to the house for the first time, and he had decided before he came, he was living outside of Philadelphia, so it was about, I guess, a little over an hour away from where I was. He wanted to bring flowers, and he went to his local florist, and he was telling her, "I'm going to meet this woman that I have been communicating with online for the last 9 months. And I want to bring her some flowers. I want to take something with me." And he was really good friends with the lady who owned this florist shop. She'd been part of the neighborhood for a long time, an older lady. And she thought it was funny. I guess maybe it was the first time she dealt with somebody that had met somebody online. And they talked about what best to bring, and there was quite a relationship. And he and I had talked a lot about the fact that my family, meaning my father specifically, had come from the same area where Roger lived. And so he told her, that there was a comfort level with this online, that, I came from, my family came from the same area that he came from, and, then he realized that he was talking to someone about the age of my father. And he said to her, "You know what, you might even know her family." So he gave her my father's name. And he said her eyes just got big and her mouth dropped open, and it ended up that the woman that he bought my first flowers from was my father's first girlfriend. Is that cute or what? Yeah, my father got a big kick out of that too. Just a cute little bit of synchronicity. So let's just say that I fell in love with a man on the phone. He professes to have been in love with me from the first or second email that we got. And then when I met him in person, that feeling that I had from him actually frightened me because I wanted to run. I wanted to run. And then as I spent a little bit more time with him in person, I knew I wasn't going to be able to run, that I'd found my home. Yeah, I'll start to cry. Been through a lot in my life when it comes to romance, and I have been blessed with amazing partners. Passionate love, romantic love. Any combination of what being with someone can be seems to have been part of my romantic experience. Roger was my first experience of being safe, knowing absolutely that he would never intentionally hurt me in any way, that there would be no extremes of temperament, there would be no extremes of what he would offer and what he might hold back. We were 50 when we met in person, both very who we are. Nothing was going to change about either one of us. I think it's the first time when it come to my partner that I was accepted unconditionally for who I was. And Roger and I are not alike, and I give him a lot of credit for that. I've had that with friends. I've been blessed with friends that I may or may not have had things in common with, but they had my heart, they had my absolute trust, and I knew they had my back. But for various reasons, I hadn't had that combination with any partners in a romantic sense. Everything was there for Roger and I. The love, the passion, the devotion, and most importantly, and he and I agree with this, most importantly, trust. Could have been a matter of our ages. It just could have been, because we say, if I had met him 10, 20, 30, whatever years before that, I wouldn't have reacted to him the way I did. He came from such a traditional experience and so conservative in so many ways. Everything from religion to family relations to politics, everything. I wouldn't have found him attractive earlier in my life. Plus, I was also attracted to men with kind of the Adonis bodies. Yeah, I tended to fall for some people because of that electricity that happens at that level. And he's honest admitting that he would have written me off as a crazy hippie that he wanted absolutely nothing to do with. And there we were, 50 years old, two people who couldn't be opposite in so many ways, but the place that we came together was friendship, partnership, sharing life, having each other's back, absolute trust, being able to be totally present and vulnerable to another person. Like I said, I'd had that with friends, but not in the partners I'd chosen for myself. Roger makes me feel cherished. He makes me feel cherished in spite of the things about me that I know are difficult to live with. And always, without fail, I feel loved by him. He doesn't run hot and cold. He runs warm to hot. But Roger never withholds anything. Oh, he'd have to tell the story about what it was he found the most powerful for the connection he felt to me. I know a lot of it was the same thing. At the time we met, he was very, very ill with COPD, and he has actually made great leaps and bounds and progress with his health since then. I was having a lot of problems with lupus at the time. One of the things we found in the dating world is, hesitation for anyone to accept our limitations. And it's like Roger said to me one time, and so I know he feels strongly about this. He felt without limitations with me. We said early on in our relationship there were four of us. There was Annie and Roger, and there was COPD and Lady Lupus that all shared our house. Oh, we still do have a foursome, but I don't know, just in a way that just works and accepts and makes the best of any given day. But above all, I feel loved, cherished, and respected by Roger. I've had that with partners over time, but it was always a lot of work to keep it that way. Didn't come easily for either of us, I guess. And it blew a little bit hot and cold. Sometimes it was just such a passionate relationship that you can't burn at that fiery level without having a flame out or a burnout. And in one situation, we were the best of friends. Oh my goodness, we were the best of friends. Intellectually matched, spiritually matched, very powerfully a twin set that way. We were meant to be friends. We weren't meant to be lovers, which we didn't discover until a bit down the road. Yeah, there's the story. Rambled on and on. Sorry you asked. About Roger and Annie. Two old farts, amazingly in love, passionately connected, enjoying life, feeling safe, both of us, really for the first time in our lives when it comes to our lives spent with each other. So it's a good life, not just a good day. That's our story. Do I even have a tiny moment for today?